improve on their level of education. Education is a continuous process. Increase even on their CBDs, continuous practice points. And therefore, this amendment by the House, Honorable Speaker, is a wise amendment. Looking forward, Honorable Speaker, I think one of the biggest challenges now is access to basic university education. And this is about banding. I was at home, Honorable Speaker, last week, and you have students who applied for the new funding model, and some of them from very poor backgrounds were placed into Band 5, and when they appealed, they were placed into Band 4. I think this is something that universities needs to, especially the joint admission board, needs to look back so that these students who are, and they are spread all over the country, they should be able to look back and see that these students can be helped so that they don't drop out of university. Because when a student is admitted for a course, for instance, in medicine, and is from very poor background, you put him in Band 5, where do you expect him to get money to pay the whole school fees? So I think this issue about the means testing is what is still not clearly addressed by the joint admission board, and we need it to be looked into so that students do not miss out. Also, when the cooks, which is admitting students for diploma and certificate courses, I think it is actually becoming a problem, because once a student has been admitted, the student qualified for a course like nursing or laboratory or even pharmacy, and is admitted to another course, something called emergency medicine and those other courses. This child is locked into that course. He cannot be able to appeal and change the course. I think the COOPS admission board should be able to look into this so that students are allowed to be able to revise and reapply for courses for which they intended to go and do. Honorable Speaker, these are very serious matters outside there. I know each and every member in this House are faced with similar challenges with their constituents, who either through the new funding model, they've been put into the wrong banding, or through COOPS, they have been admitted into a course in which they cannot be able to change. And I want to appeal to the COOPS admission board and also the University Joint Admission Board to be able to look into this very acquiring education and advancing their careers. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
Very well. Member for Sigowet, Honorable Justice Keme.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity that you've given me to also add my voice to this very, very critical bill. From the onset, Madam Speaker, I wish to register my support for this amendment bill and to say it has come at the right time. We must admit, Madam Speaker, that as a nation, we made a mistake to scrap our technical institutions in preference for proliferation of universities. While I agree entirely that we must expand university education in this country, we cannot do it to the detriment of technical education or middle-level education. I want to join my colleagues, Madam Speaker, to say, let universities provide education in higher learning. Let universities provide research that we so much need as a human race. And then we leave the certificates and the diplomas to middle-level colleges. Madam Speaker, it was sad to see, us changing even teachers training colleges to be universities. It was sad for us to see institutions like Kenya Science being, watered down from what it was doing previously. So, Madam Speaker, I don't want to go into what my colleagues have said, but I want to say universities in this country must confine themselves to providing degrees and postgraduate diplomas in their areas of specialization. Secondly, Madam Speaker, I want us to get our universities to link their programs to universities in other parts of the world, so that if we were to produce a student in this country from the University of Nairobi, that student would be at par to compete for job opportunities with a student coming from Harvard University, let's say, for example, Harvard University. Doing so, Madam Speaker, would be able to produce students that they can be able to migrate to other parts of the world and get their work done there. Madam Speaker, when I went to the School of Journalism, the area of study that we had at that point in time was linked to the studies in Eastern Europe. So it means, Madam Speaker, if I graduated from the communication school in Kenya, I would be competent enough to work with somebody who has graduated from a university in the Eastern world. That way, Madam Speaker, will make sure that any student that we produce can be able to work in either part of the world. Dr. Pokose has talked about COOPS and Joint Admissions Board. I don't want to repeat, but the cry of our people is that they must be allowed to do courses of their choice. And the revision of the courses must be a process that is transparent and that is fairly acceptable to the students that would wish to change their courses. And finally, Madam Speaker, I want the universities and indeed all other colleges to link their training to the industrial requirements of this country. For example, if an industry producing plastics requires certain skills, then our universities must be able to link their curriculum to the requirements of that particular industry. If, for example, in agriculture, irrigation technology is required, then the universities must be able to link the training of agriculture in the institutions to the requirements of irrigation technology or biotechnology, which we require to make sure that agricultural production in this country is increased and that productivity is increased. Madam Speaker, with those remarks, I beg to support. Thank you.
Very well. Member for Nyeri Town, are you on this?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have looked at this bill, and this bill does seek to bar universities from offering ordinary diplomas and certificates. But the Commission for University Education, therefore, retains the position of being the competent authority on postgraduate certificates, diplomas, and degrees. But who then handles? Who is the competent authority on matters middle-level training? Because we have the TVETA authority on one hand, on technical and vocational training. But who is the authority on business training, for example? Who is the authority on accounting? Who is the authority on nursing? And the many other middle-level competencies that our country needs. And I'm wondering whether this bill, the amendment in this bill, should be improved to bring more coherence in terms of one authority on qualifications in this country. We have the Kenyan National Qualifications Authority hanging somewhere. But does the removal or the ban on universities providing ordinary diplomas and certificate education open the field for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to come up with a training, because there is no requirement to report to somebody. I know even as it is, that requirement is not there. But we have let Kenyans be subjected to all kinds of training in this country. Allow me to give you an example of a training that is now very popular in institutions in this country, referred to as a nurse's assistant. Nowhere in the human resource for health, both in the policy and in the strategic plan, is provided for. So we have our children of this country, who are now, and their parents, being exploited by institutions that are coming up with fancy titles. And as a legislator, I am asking myself, should we, in enacting laws, be more holistic in looking at an industry from end to end? And therefore, Madam Speaker, while I support the idea of removing universities from offering certificates and diplomas, I would like this bill, or a partner bill, to also bring clarity on the area of tertiary training and middle level training in our country. Madam Speaker, there is also this other question. The Higher Education Loans Board. So what is higher education? Once we've moved from basic education, what is the next level? Why doesn't every child in this country, after their basic education, who goes for the next level of training, qualify to be funded by the Higher Education Loans Board? And people say this is the Higher Education Loans Board is a brainchild of the Ministry of Education. Teacher trainees in Kamweja Teachers College, in Kagumo Teachers College, in Muranga Teachers College, colleges under the Ministry of Education do not qualify for funding under the higher education. Why? Yet these are Kenyan children. Children at the Kenya Medical Training College. The Ministry of Health is asked to find, health ministry funds to be administered by HELB for higher education. Yet everybody under TVET apparently qualifies for higher education funding. So we need to be more coherent as a house in terms of a holistic appraisal of the regulation of the education sector. And therefore, Madam Speaker, while I support this, I urge us as legislators, including myself, that we need to bring more clarity on the area of education, and especially the equal treatment of every Kenyan child who accesses higher education. If the word higher is misleading, then we need to rename HELB so that it provides educational support to these children, Madam Speaker, under basic education. But immediately thereafter, there is a huge gap. So when in Nyeri, for example, I support a child who is in KMTC with 7,000, yet the fees is 70,000. How do parents raise the remainder, 90,000, yet we do not have dedicated funding for such children under HELB? Madam Speaker, with those comments, I support.
Member Nandi Hills.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, to have the opportunity to contribute to this very timely amendment bill sponsored by Major Dong Benjamin Kathiru, Member of Parliament for Embakasi. On the onset, I want to say I support the bill. I think as a country, we have matured enough to be able to streamline some of these institutions that they've done well in the past, but it makes it better when we are able to refine their functions, to streamline their functions, to make them more effective. By separating the degree courses in our country and the diplomas and certificates in a more organized manner, I think is the right thing to do for posterity. This bill, in the upshot, Honorable Speaker, when I see the amendment of Section 5, where it gives the functions of the Commission on the University of Education for them to be able to do the equating the postgraduate certificates and postgraduate diplomas that have been done in foreign universities, and marrying that to amendment of Section 70 that then demands of the Commission to provide regulations on the procedure of the equating those postgraduate diplomas and certificates, I think is the right thing to do, and for that I sincerely appreciate. Now, coming back and putting the TVETA, the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Authority, to handle the aspects of the diplomas and certificates, my concern now comes in, does it cover all courses, up and including courses like business courses, diplomas, business administration courses, and those kinds of things? And I want to agree with some of my colleagues who have shared that then, if the degree courses have been benchmarked at the CUE, Commission on University Education, then we need to have a holistic authority that handles all courses that relates to diplomas and certificates, not only vocational. Honorable Speaker, on the aspects of providing for students, the ongoing students, that then they will not be interrupted with the courses they are doing, I think it's very good and timely, so that they can have the comfort of finishing the courses, their training they are going through without interruptions. I think it's very good. But I want to also give a proposal for the sponsor of this bill to consider as well, Honorable Speaker, that universities had invested a lot and they were making a lot of money by having these diploma courses, hinged in their institutions. Is it also possible, because most of them have invested, probably they have built laboratories, they have built workshops where they were able to handle some of these diploma courses, that even though the CUE will be handling the issue of recruitment, is it then possible that even the technical colleges can still be able to work in partnership with these institutions that had put in a lot of investments, using the government money, the public funds, to put up some of these magnificent equipments to be able to train these students, that they can still be able to utilize those equipments, that will not be a waste on the investments they've made in their institutions. Honorable Speaker, the fact that the placement board now have been mandated that there shall be no placement of any students undertaking the diplomas and certificates in the universities is good, but it's because it provides direction. But I still say there must be a window of utilizing the infrastructure that had already been placed in these universities in the past, because they should not be left as elephant projects because of the funds that had been used in those places. So overly, I think it is timely, it is the right thing to do, it is progressive, and I therefore support it wholeheartedly, save for one of those two proposals that I've already put in place. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Member for Marsabit, Honorable Ako. She's stepped out. I do not see more interest in this bill. The mover will reply in the next appointed time. Next order.
Order number 10, the Prevention of Livestock and Produce Theft Bill, Senate Bill number 12 of 2023, second reading.
Honorable Rahim is not in the house. This will be deferred. Next order.
Order number 11, the Basic Education Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2025, second reading.
The mover of this bill is Honorable Tom Anthony Oluoch. He's not in the house. Be deferred to the next sitting. Next order.
Order number 12, the Penal Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2024, second reading.
Similarly, by Honorable Member for Mathare, will be deferred to the next appointed sitting.
Order number 13, the National Police Service Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2025, second reading.
This by Honorable Oku Kaunya is in the house. You ready to move? You have the floor to do so.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the National Police Amendment Bill 2025 so that it be read now a second time. This bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 24th September 2025, and was committed to the Departmental Committee of Administration and Internal Security for consideration and reporting in accordance with Standing Order 127. Honorable Speaker, the purpose of this bill is straightforward. It seeks to amend the National Police Service Act to introduce an upper age limit of 60 years for persons appointed as Inspector General and Deputy Inspector General of Police. It also seeks to provide clarity in the tenure of the Deputy Inspector Generals by introducing a one-term limit of 5 years, an area where the law is currently silent. Honorable Speaker, this bill is important because these are not ordinary officers. The Inspector General and the Deputy Inspector General carry immense responsibility. They are required to make quick, high-stakes decisions, respond to complex security challenges, and provide steady leadership in the entire National Police Service. These roles demand not only experience, but also a high level of physical and mental resilience. The bill, therefore, seeks to ensure that those entrusted with such responsibility are able to meet these demands, while at the same time allowing room for succession planning and renewal within the service. Honorable Speaker, Article 245 of the Constitution establishes the office of the Inspector General, who is appointed by the President with approval of Parliament for a single term of 4 years and is not eligible for reappointment. The Constitution also provides that each of the two police services, that is the Administration Police Service and the Kenya Police Service, shall be headed by a Deputy Inspector General appointed by the President on recommendation of the National Police Service Commission. However, Honorable Speaker, neither the Constitution nor the National Police Service Act sets out a clear term limit for the Deputy Inspector General. In practice, they often serve based on contractual terms, usually around 5 years, unless removed in accordance with the law. The bill, therefore, seeks to provide a clear and predictable framework for the tenure of the Deputy Inspector Generals. Honorable Speaker, it is worth noting that the Inspector General and Deputy Inspector General are state officers. Generally, state officers do not have a fixed retirement age. However, our law recognizes that for certain critical offices, limits are necessary to promote efficiency, accountability, and orderly transition in leadership. For example, judges retire at 70 years, with an option to retire at 65. The Chief Justice serves for a maximum of 10 years or until retirement, whichever comes earlier. Similarly, within the Kenya Defense Forces, the Chief of the Defense Forces and service commanders serve for a single term of 4 years or retire upon attaining mandatory retirement age, whichever comes first. This has helped to ensure predictability and smooth succession at the highest levels of command. Honorable Speaker, comparative experience from other jurisdictions also points in the same direction. In South Africa, for example, the retirement age for members of the police service, including the National Commissioner, is 60 years. In India, every government servant, including the Director General of Police, retires upon attaining the age of 60 years. These examples show that setting an age limit for top police leadership is not an unusual, rather it is consistent with global practice. Honorable Speaker, I wish to clarify that this bill is not intended to target the current holders of the office. It is a policy measure meant to strengthen the institutional framework of the National Police Service. If enacted, it will apply prospectively and will not affect the current holders of the office necessarily, especially the Inspector General and Deputy Inspector Generals. The Constitution itself protects the 4-year term, and the Inspector General 4-year term which the Inspector General serves, and the protection remains untouched. Honorable Speaker, this bill is about ensuring strong, effective, and forward-looking leadership of the police service. It seeks to balance the value of experience with the need for renewal and provide clarity where the law currently is silent. Honorable Speaker, with those few remarks, I beg to move and request Honorable Russell to second. Thank you.
Member for Saku.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to second this very important bill. Madam Speaker, for a very long time, the issues of the National Police Service have never been addressed, particularly in terms of service, longevity in terms of time to be served, and also the different senior appointments. And for that reason, as a committee, when we looked at this bill, we were trying to resolve what we consider to be uncharted waters. Because before now, many were afraid to address what has remained contentious and also a cause of contestation within the National Police Service. Madam Speaker, this bill in itself, it addresses the fundamental issues of morale, predictability of who can be promoted at what time. Because we have seen cases where the Inspector General can be brought from elsewhere and he serves at the helm of the National Police Service. Or even the DIGs, the Deputy Inspector Generals. For this reason, it had the tendency to actually undermine morale, commitment, and the judicial service to this nation by these very professional officers. Madam Speaker, through this bill, what was not captured in the original Act of 2012, the National Police Service Act, this bill has attempted to address all those gray areas and to bring clarity. Having come from the Kenya Defense Forces, the reason why Kenya Defense Forces are a very stable institution, but also a clear bureaucracy, is because they have laid down particularly the issue of hierarchy. Time at what somebody can get promoted. If they don't get promoted, what happens to them? They leave the service. At what time can somebody be appointed the Chief of Defense Forces? More often than not, they will have been serving service commanders from the Kenya Navy, the Kenya Air Force, or the Kenya Army. So, what as a committee, and I must thank Honorable Oku Kaunya, that we have attempted to bring out clarity that somebody who will be an IG is likely to be somebody who potentially has been the head of the General Service Unit, the Administration Police, or the Kenya Police Service. So that anybody who serves in the police at the senior rank, they know that I am heading to the very top without any ambiguity. Madam Speaker, the issue of correction in terms of age limit, even in the last appointment of the IG, there are people who are saying, oh, this IG is above the age of this and that. But as a committee, when we looked through the existing laws, we came out clearly that nothing has been stipulated. In the absence of an existing law, then you will follow the Constitution. Does it lay out anything in the Constitution? The Constitution is mute on that part. So for that reason, I agree with my colleague that this particular law will not affect the serving DIGs and IG. But going forward, then those who are likely to succeed, because this is really about succession within the National Police Service, then individuals will know that as an AIG, Assistant Inspector General of Police, then they are likely to succeed their superiors in the following promotions. Madam Speaker, finally, this issue of not addressing some of the factors that undermine the good order and the bureaucracy of the National Police Service is a cause of even corruption, of individuals maybe buying their way to go to the top, approaching politicians. But if what is there in law is not muted, there's clarity, there's no ambiguity, there's no middle ground, then individuals are going to stay on the line, work their way up the ladder to be able to command the National Police Service. Madam Speaker, the age of 60 years that Honorable Oku Kaunya alluded to, before now, it was never mentioned within the Act what is the compulsory retirement age of the IG or the DIGs, and how long they will serve. And through this bill, we have been able to come up with a very clear position that the IG serves for 4 years and serve through his time, but he will be appointed before he reaches the age of 60. If that individual reaches the age of 60, then they will not be appointed as IG or DIGs. The DIGs are going to serve for one term of 5 years, non-renewable. So anybody who will be appointed to those two very important offices in the National Police Service, then it means that they are long-serving individuals who are professionally qualified to occupy those offices. With those remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to second, and I want to ask the House to support this bill. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that the National Police Service Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2025, be now read a second time. Before I give any speaker, honorable members, the report and the bill is available at the clerk's table. But before we start the debate, allow me to recognize in the speakers gallery students and teachers from Mutungoni Academy, that is in Mavoko constituency, Machakos County. You're welcome to the House to observe the proceedings as it unfolds. The first chance will go to the member for Seme. Honorable Nyikal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this bill. I support this bill because in reality, in the maintenance of law and order, in the whole issue of governance, in the whole issue of integrity, there are two institutions that are critical. One is the institution of the National Police Service, and one the institution of the Judicial Service. If those two do not work, or there are doubts in their performances, all other efforts amount to nil. Therefore, this bill that seeks to be very clear on how the Inspector General and the Deputy Inspector General are appointed is extremely important. And so that it removes any clarity, it removes any doubt. It is very clear who can be appointed and who cannot be appointed, which means what we are used to as people lobbying, even if people lobby, they will only be lobbying amongst people who are capable of doing the job, because the bill has stated very clearly what they must have as experiences, what kind of jobs they have held, what qualifications they have. So, Madam Speaker, that clarity is extremely important. The other is the term limit. It's also very clear for how long they will serve. And again, that means that once somebody is in office, they can plan that how long they are going to serve, what changes they want to make, and make sure that there's enough time, work on it. And two, it will also bring confidence, because in the forces, people grow by the ranks, and people would like to know that if I move in this direction, in this time, by this, I can get there. And if then it's not clear how long people are going to stay in office, and it's left to the vagaries of politics and other issues, then the officers lose morale. And there's nothing worse than in the police force, or, as I said also in the judicial, that people do not feel like there's a future for them in the service, that however hard they work, they'll not get anywhere. When people get to that and they take I don't care attitude, the suffering is actually great. I always say, Madam Speaker, that those two institutions, we can talk about integrity, we can talk about corruption, but if those two institutions, the National Police Service and the judicial system, do not work, all is lost. Therefore, this bill comes at appropriate time. Madam Speaker, what I would then say that it has set out who should not be, it has set out the term, and it has indicated when you cannot be. But what probably is not here that then we will have to look at seriously in the whole of the police service is the progression of people. Because if again, at the lower levels, people do not progress as designed in time, so that a lot of people also reach the limit before they get there. Then another despondence will come where people know that people can delay, and when people get to maybe 58, 59, and they know they are still far down, even as early as 50, and they see people ahead of them, the crowd ahead of them, the line ahead of them, and they know that there's an age limit, then again you are going to see despondence and people not working in line. With that, Madam Speaker, I support the bill, but what I think we look at in the structure of the National Police Service, I think in the armed forces, I think they have managed to actually make sure that at every stage, you can stay at that stage for just a fixed period of time. That means you move quickly, and therefore people have hope that I can get to the top as I'm moving. And my movement at the lower stages are also timed. If we only time and put a limit at the top, we are likely to have chaos in the lower cadres if the movement are also not equally coordinated. With that, Madam Speaker, I support this bill.
Honorable Indikiri.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I join to support this bill. From the practice, the retirement age of civil servants is 60 years. Based on that, it is important that we align the police force with the same requirement. Madam Speaker, the only thing that I would not agree with very much is the statement that somebody who is 60 does not have stamina. I think that that is totally out of order, unless if he qualifies, and I hope he is listening. Mr. Honorable Kaunya, I'm saying...
Honorable Kaunya, you're being alerted on your statement.
On your statement that people who are 60 years are not physically fit. I don't know what you used to qualify your statement. Number two, it is generally known people who have advanced in age, certain age, they have more experience than people who are below the age. So I think those two criteria that you have brought in as the reason as to why the age retirement should be 60, they are not strictly valid. Unless if you tell us on what basis are you saying Dr. Nyakal is not physically fit, who is approaching 70. What we are using here is experience and capacity to perform. Madam Speaker, the other issue is the Deputy Inspector General is supposed to serve for one term of 5 years. If I become Deputy Inspector General at the age of 54 and I have not attained 60, does it mean that I am going to go home? I need to be given an opportunity to continue serving, it to move into the rank of Inspector General, as long as I am within the age of 60. There are many people who are going to be on that category, so I think that needs to be thought again. Madam Speaker, one of the things that is killing the morale among the police force is the career path. Once you join the police, from constable, it needs to be very clear for how long and are you going to serve and what are the requirements for you to move up. We are having that challenge. You'll find there are so many graduates who have joined as constables, and for them to go to the commissioned rank, it is taking many years. I think that is not right. When we are also making amendment on this act, we need to bring in specifically those young people who have made a choice to join the police as a career. They can't be contained as constables for years until they retire. It's being very unfair. And then you see somebody who finished Form 4 and got a D is moving up faster than those guys who have been to the university. It is not fair. And this is affecting a lot of morale of police officers. And it goes up and up and up. And you can find there are those people at the DIG level, assistant DIG levels. Some of them have no papers like those young officers. So I think it's something that needs to be joined. We cannot only talk about the issue of the age. Madam Speaker, in Kenya today, there are things that need to be collected. And this is one of those things that need to be collected. We are not preparing some position for specific people. We are doing the law for posterity. We are doing this because we want to ensure that everybody has an opportunity. We also want to say that if we are to abide by the rule of law, let have an equal criteria. The issue of DIG and IG, they are not political appointments. They are not cabinet secretaries. These are people who have grown progressively within the ranks. I totally agree with Dr. Nyakal that people are coming from out and they are joining in from other forces. We have seen people coming from KDF to prison. We have seen even people coming from KDF to police. But we have never seen the other way around. Let's be fair to the police force. Let's do the right things. Let's ensure that we pass the law that is going to create confidence and motivation for our young people to choose police force as their career. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member for Navaholo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to, on the onset, support this bill by this great member of Teso North. Honorable Speaker, allow me to also inform the House that the member for Teso North is a career police officer or rather public servant who has served in the administration side and who understands, Honorable Speaker, when he talks of this kind of a bill or he brings such a bill, he is doing so out of experience, out of what he might have gone through before he joined the Assembly. Therefore, I take this, Honorable Speaker, with a lot of regard and lots of concern that this is a good bill. Honorable Speaker, this bill is looking at two things mainly. Looking at the age limit of the IG, which in the Constitution and even in the National Police Service Commission, Honorable Speaker, Act does not provide for it. It's also looking at addressing what we missed out in the Police Service Act, the age, the term limit of the Deputy Inspector General. Honorable Speaker, this act is not going to be supreme to the Constitution. The Constitution provides for the term of office for IG being 4 years, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, any person in that office will not be interrupted by virtue of us amending this act, or rather passing this bill into the law, so that the current IG, Honorable Speaker, need not be a subject of discussion, but any other person coming on board, Honorable Speaker, will be a person to work or to be bound by this law of 60 years, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the issue of the DIG serving 5 years, Honorable Speaker, is a good thing, Honorable Speaker, that it's not provided for in the National Police Service Act, and now we are putting it into place so that we say 5 years, Honorable Speaker, for someone seated in the position of the Deputy Inspector General is sufficient enough and is good, Honorable Speaker. Looking at the comparison in terms of numbers, Honorable Speaker, IG serving 4 years and the DIG serving 5 years. That means, Honorable Speaker, we are assuming these people are appointed on the same day, and then one has to go for 4 years. Definitely, during the succession, Honorable Speaker, the 1 year overlap will cushion the government or the National Police Service Commission or the National Police in entirety, that, Honorable Speaker, at no one time there will be a vacancy or a vacuum in the office of the IG. The 1 year is sufficient enough that, Honorable Speaker, the relevant authority can now come out and pick a next IG during that succession. Honorable Speaker, what is it that is happening in the National Police Service Commission? Apart from these two issues, we look at the issue of infrastructure, Honorable Speaker. Why are we allowing our officers, Honorable Speaker, just to be without any equipment of trade, Honorable Speaker. They don't have vehicles to move. Or if they have vehicles, Honorable Speaker, allow me to say my own example of Navajo Police, Navajo Division, Honorable Speaker. My OSPD does not have a car, does not have a vehicle. He uses the vehicle of the AP, Honorable Speaker. Meaning at any one time, they share also one vehicle with the OCS, which means if the OCS is using the vehicle, my OSPD does not have a vehicle, Honorable Speaker. I feel, Honorable Speaker, as we look at the bigger offices, let us look at where does the rubber meet the road. Rubber meets the road at the station. And we need to empower our officers at the station so that they have the relevant tools of trade, that is the vehicle, and even the infrastructure to move at night, Honorable Speaker, should be supplied to officers. Honorable Speaker, at one time in the national prisons, there was a saying which was not been proven, Honorable Speaker, that the kids, Honorable Speaker, used by prisons during pass out were not sufficient enough. And they had to bring on board other uniforms from the serving officers, Honorable Speaker. I feel we are duty bound that we buy or fund the National Police Service Commission, National Police Service as it is. We give funds to the prison service, Honorable Speaker, so that at least we have enough officers working within the environment that is convenient, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this bill has introduced other persons from outside who are not inside the service, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to join Honorable Nyikal and feel that at the right time, Honorable Speaker, these amendments should be polished so that we only have officers in the relevant unit, in the relevant services, Honorable Speaker, attaining this high rank. Let's not introduce persons from external bodies to come and head the institution. Why should we go out and source for people? Yet, Honorable Speaker, we have senior DIGs who have been there, who can also be IGs, who can be deputy IGs. Let us grow the service. Let everyone, Honorable Speaker, when he joins the police service at a constable level, he knows at one time, Honorable Speaker, he'll rise to the highest rank. There is always competition to achieve and attain one's obligation. Honorable Speaker, any member of parliament, any member joining this house, the destination, Honorable Speaker, is to become a president of this country. That's the apex of the political administration in terms of political arm, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, it's important we allow officers who are joining as constables who know the same way officers in the armed forces, they know they'll rise to the chief of general staff at the top. 4-star decorated, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, let us not introduce other persons who are going to come from outside to take positions that are not supposed, are supposed to have been taken by the persons who have served in those positions, Honorable Speaker. I feel this is a good bill. I urge my colleagues, we support it, and make sure, Honorable Speaker, also thank the President and the government that at least, Honorable Speaker, they've added something in the pocket of the officers. It might not be sufficient. Nothing is sufficient, but something is better than nothing, Honorable Speaker. We want to encourage that the government continues to make sure it looks into the welfare of the police officers so that they can work well and work for Kenyans at large. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support this bill.
Well, member for Kiamba. I can see the Kamukunji. You killed the Kamukunji for Kiambu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think I was just consulting different members, depending on their seniority as far as the National Assembly is concerned. Let me take this opportunity, Madam Speaker, and support Honorable Member for this bill. And I want to say that there are issues that probably we need to address as we are supporting it. And one of it is about the 15 years experience. What has killed most of the civil service is when we leave a loophole or a gap whereby the career people who have been in that industry, that they cannot progress as far as those appointments are concerned. Because they are state appointment, they are executive, they are appointed by the president. The career civil servants, we must have a way to protect the career civil servants, those people who have been serving in those specific institutions, Madam Speaker. The issue of experience and say that you have to be in the police force for the last 15 years. I mean, that is a small bar. We are supposed to say you must have served the police force from early as an inspector or a sergeant so that you have grown through the career and the randa of police service and police service, Madam Speaker. Because at the end of the day, we want someone who is experienced, who understands where is Baragoi. Someone who has grown through the randa by becoming a simple police officer who have gone through the system. And at the end of the day, has been promoted because of merit, not because he knows anybody in government, not because he rubs shoulders with certain members of parliament or governors, but because he have given his all as far as that career is concerned. So we must have a way, and I'll talk to Mheshimiwa, we amend. Because 15 years experience is such a short time. There should be even 30 or 35 years of experience, so that the person you're putting in charge of security has served probably in the Kenya Police Service, have grown the rank, he has become an OCS, he has become an OCPD, he has become a county commander, and he has gained experience through the system. So the moment he sits in the seat up there, he understands what happens in my smallest police division. I'm at the section of police, whether it's a police post. He understands what normally goes on in that police post. If you tell him we have a challenge to deal with thieves because we are not mobile, we don't have vehicles, we don't have guns, he can be able to relate with whatever is going on. And I've seen it, Madam Speaker. And I think something must be done, because you realize someone has been out of the country, he comes and apply because we have put the bar so low that we only need 15 years experience. You must have served maybe in any criminal. I have seen that you have served probably in being a lawyer, or you have been in any criminal or any degree in criminology or security or sociology. It is totally different from what happens on day-to-day activities of the security sector within the Republic, Madam Speaker. So we must make it sure that we protect and also entice the police officers knowingly, if they serve genuinely and honestly. They don't have to know anyone, as far as they can be able to grow the randa of the police as police officers to become Inspector General. It is simple. But we must also we are killing the morale of these people, especially career civil servants. I saw the other day an advert was done for KRA commissioners, people who don't even know how to correct revenue, people who don't even know the challenges that they face, how to correct revenue. They're the one who comes to be in the helm of the KRA as a commissioners, and they're the one now correcting and telling us how we are going to be correcting this revenue. You must understand the system before you become the minister, or probably before you become a CEO, so that when you are given a target, you know which model am I going to apply. Because I've been serving in border, I've been serving in Garissa, I've been serving in Wajir. When there are challenges coming from that area, as an Inspector General, you are able to understand what is going on within the Republic. But probably we are appointing people who have no clue where is Wajir, because they have never served within that terrain. They have no clue where is Kiamba, because they have never been able to move from one section to the other as far as those careers are concerned. So, Madam Speaker, we must raise the bar. We must protect career civil servants. Those people who have grown through the randa, they became sergeant, armor cracks, they became officers, police officers, and they went to the field. That's how they were appointed. And they have grown the randa, and now they have become the police officers or the Inspector General of Police Officers. That one we must, as the bill progresses, we'll bring an amendment so that at least we try to see how do we protect anybody who serves within the service, within the police service, Madam Speaker. Number two, I agree. As long as your retirement comes fast and you have been appointed as Inspector General of Police, you should go home, because any leader should be able to make sure that he has raised another generation to take over after them. There is no way you can tell us you have the monopoly of experience as far as career civil servant, or as far as, because you are now the Inspector General and you cannot retire before. If you are retiring at 60 and you have been appointed 2 years to retirement, the moment what comes first, if it is your retirement, you retire. We can be able to promote and to appoint another person within the rank of the police, Madam Speaker. So there must be a way also. We are, as long as the defense, the judiciary, they are using the same model, why not the police? And you cannot tell us that you're the one who have the monopoly of experience as far as, managing the security sector of this country, making sure that you manage what is going on within the police force. You are not the only person who has the monopoly of experience. We should make sure we have other people lined in case. Madam Speaker, we must also agree. There is also the call of nature. Things happen. You might even die. Does that mean we'll not have another Inspector General of Police because something has happened? No. So what comes first, I support Mheshimiwa. If it is your retirement that comes first, retire. If it is one term that you're supposed to be an Inspector General for one term, and then your heir end when you are 59 years, then you go home, we appoint another Inspector General of Police or another Deputy Inspector General of Police. But my issue, Madam Speaker, is that we must protect career civil servants. We must encourage them that it is beneficial for you to be a career civil servant, supporting the government, offering your entire life because of the government and the public service. We must make sure that even if we are going to appoint on merit, and that is a notion that people say it is merit, but we know sometimes for you to get such position, you must know who is who in this country. So we must also make sure we protect career civil servants, so that by the time those positions those positions becomes vacant, someone can be able. You just only need to present your CV, and you get appointed without knowing who it is who, as far as this country is concerned, Madam Speaker. There are many issues that the police need to address, and I have heard much more also mentioning some of them. The issue of, because the performance of security, it has other attributes, especially as far as the movement is concerned, the issues to do with the vehicle. We have been talking about this for a very long time. And I think we are just about to approach the election whereby even the police, they don't have enough vehicles to be able to facilitate and to be able to move around and make sure that there is smooth election. And number two, to make sure that they are also mobile, even in terms of fighting criminals, fighting Al-Shabaab and doing all those things. We have been setting a budget. And Chair Security will confirm, because I sit in the budget committee. Every single month, every single budget, we have been setting aside money for modernization. But we want to also to know from the security committee, from the chairs, what is this money doing for modernization? Because and I know it is a sensitive matter to discuss and even to say, but we must also be able to know whether the police are being modernized. Because as far as my constituency is concerned, I haven't seen anything modernized, not even the guns, not even the walkie-talkie, not even the vehicles. So, and we have been setting money every single year for modernization. So you also need to understand, are the police well equipped? Are they well facilitated? And I want to appreciate what the government did the other day, because they increased their salary. It comes a long way to motivate them and to tell them that, it matters. Continue fighting for this country, continue doing what is right, but we must also make sure that we protect them, so that when such positions becomes vacant, they don't need to struggle. They need to understand, as long as you have 30 years of experience as a police officer, you are entitled to apply for that job, and because of merit, you will get that opportunity, Madam Speaker. I support.
Honorable Kawanjiko. The Honorable Maina Madenge, member for Nyeri Town.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand to support this bill. However, Madam Speaker, while the idea of protecting career police officers is good, and also opening up space for the younger ones, Madam Speaker, how does this bill strengthen accountability and eliminate corruption within the police force? I wish we had something in that line on this bill. Madam Speaker, when we look, when the public service is being ranked, the traffic police, a department within the National Police Service, is always ranked highest. But I wonder why we should not, for example, introduce the position of the DIG to specifically handle the issue of traffic police. Would it bring better performance? And especially also in the light of the increasing road accidents and the cost of lives. Basically, attributed, though not wholly, one, to the state of the vehicles in public, offering public services, and also private vehicles. Yet there is a requirement for motor vehicle inspection. And also, the issue of licensing, which is again a component of the traffic police. Madam Speaker, the issue of illicit alcohol that is killing our country, killing generations. Could we possibly, Honorable Kaunya, expand this to introduce a specialized unit within the police force to deal with the menace of illicit alcohol across our country, which is damaging our young people, ruining families, ruining lives, coming at a very high cost. And when I speak about this, Madam Speaker.
Order, Honorable Madenge. Honorable Oko Kaunya, as the sponsor of this bill, and I know that you have a lot of experience in police service, you can take the opportunity, if you wish to do so, to fill in your colleagues. If you want, you can do that. Because I have perused the bill and I have a feeling that most of the issues is raising are already taken care in the act or also in this bill. So if you want to do so, but if you wish to do it as you respond, no problem. You may proceed, Honorable Madenge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I am aware that this bill is looking at the enforcing the retirement age as generally agreed under the public service, and also allowing for continuity between the position of the IG and DIG upon the position of IG falling vacant. However, Madam Speaker, this is the top leadership of the police force. And therefore, we cannot examine the occupation of that position without looking at the performance and delivery of the units and the powers that these two positions of IG and DIG are superintending over. Madam Speaker, in my constituency, in a shopping center known as Gatitu, I have 5 brands of alcohol that have all been tested by KEBS, by Anti-Counterfeit Authority, by the government chemist, under the Public Health Act, and found to be unsuitable for public consumption. Yet we have the law that is being enforced. Should I blame the local police station, or should the blame go all the way up to the position of IG and DIG, which is the subject of our conversation here today? And therefore, Madam Speaker, the laws that we are making and the amendments to existing laws must also result in amendments that are more responsive to the issues that are affecting our people. Madam Speaker, I'll be constrained to want to speak about the IG and the DIG, yet Best Gin, Diamond Ice, Sweet Berry, Daras Brady, Jabbo Ice, samples that were collected from bars in Gatito, yet we have the Alcoholic Drinks Control Act that is supposed to be enforced by the police, headed by the IG and the 2 DIGs, killing people in my constituency. We have 2 manufacturers who are manufacturing these blends. Madam Speaker, how come Kenya Breweries requires all the empty bottles to be returned to the manufacturer, yet the manufacturers of this alcohol, which is bottled in their branded bottles, which is killing our people, do not see it necessary for the bottles to be returned? And therefore, Madam Speaker, my call is that I am urging Honorable Kaunya to look as to whether it is possible to introduce further amendments so that as we look at the leadership, we also strengthen service delivery towards, for Kenyan citizens. We are heading to a point where, despite these positions being there, Kenyans are feeling more and more helpless. They feel like the duty bearers have abandoned them. And therefore, will be a tendency for people to want to protect them. Yes, we have constitutional structures with powers and mandate to protect our society. So we cannot just sit here, Madam Speaker, and only speak about our positions and other senior positions. I need to request Honorable Kaunya to kindly consider my statements in the final bill and see whether it is possible to strengthen the performance of the police service in our country, and especially responding to the issues of road accidents and the issue of illicit alcohol in our country. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I support.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madenge. The Honorable Francis Sigei, member for Sotik.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also add my voice on this bill. And Madam Speaker, on the onset, I would like to support this bill. But first of all, Madam Speaker, I want to say that the sponsor of this bill is a man of integrity, a man who has served this country, and he understands the security apparatus of this country. And therefore, when somebody of this caliber brings such an amendment, he understands. But, Madam Speaker, you know, in this country, the role of the Kenya Police Service is so crucial that whatever people are talking about always centers on the way the police are operating in this country. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I want to say that this amendment is following the footsteps of the Tonje rules. The Tonje rules in this country, Madam Speaker, brought a kind of revolutionary measures, which is now making the Kenya Defense Forces a very stable institution. And therefore, when our honorable MP from Teso North brings in this amendment, it doesn't mean that it is the end of everything. Madam Speaker, we have Maraga reports, Maraga reforms. Maraga reforms have got a raft of measures which is trying to improve the Kenya Police Force. And therefore, I want to commend Honorable Kaunya. Madam Speaker, I know when we talk about the age limit, we are not targeting a particular officer. This is a recommendation for the austerity of this Kenya Police Force. And therefore, Madam Speaker, when we talk about age limit, we are looking at those people who are also coming up the ranks. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I know there are officers who are down there who have been in service for so many years and have not gotten promotion. These are frustrations which officers are facing in this country, and therefore, when we open up the positions up there, there will be hope for those officers who are down there and still in service. Madam Speaker, we have an area which is also a gray area, I call it myself, the area of graduates who are joining the Kenya Police. Graduates, Madam Speaker, are facing a lot of problems. And we need to look at this amendment also in that respect. Madam Speaker, I want to say this amendment bill is progressive, and we are going to look at matters which are going to also assist the Kenya Police. Madam Speaker, I want to talk about the morale of officers. The morale of officers down the ranks is another area which is causing a lot of problems. If an officer has stayed in a particular rank, say a constable, for 15 years, and there is no hope, Madam Speaker, it brings in frustrations. And therefore, you see a lot of corruption in this country because officers are not seeing any hope in future. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I want to appeal to this House that whenever I sit in the Committee of Administration and Internal Security, Madam Speaker, and we are always appealing to this House to allocate more resources so that it can make these officers more effective. You can see, Madam Speaker, in our places, almost in the entire country, but some people are asking the police are asking them to fuel the vehicle to attend to emergencies in terms of security. And therefore, it causes a lot of problems. We want to have a well-resourced Kenya Police Service. We want to have a highly officers who have high morale in this country. Madam Speaker, I want to look at the issue of housing. Madam Speaker, there was an issue the other day when the officers are supposed to be living outside the station. I think this was a mistake. Madam Speaker, we need to revise that policy so that we can have officers living within the police station. And therefore, who can be able to respond to the emergencies in that particular area. So, Madam Speaker, this amendment is an amendment which is timely, and those who have worked in Kenya government for a long time, understand.
What is out of order, member for Kisii? What is out of order? Member for Kisii? I'll give you your 2 minutes, Ambassador. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Actually, as we continue to debate on the police and everything, Madam Speaker, I just wanted, I saw the beautiful students from Tongoni walking out. I didn't want them to go before I made my contribution on this. That's why I decided to interrupt. My daughter is in that school, Madam Speaker. You know,
I think you would like to contribute.
I never stepped in Parliament, Madam Speaker.
You may take your seat.
She has.
I'll give you a chance to contribute. So there is nothing out of order. So I believe that I do not have any power to ask them to stay, but I hope that you'll get a chance in the next 3 minutes. So please conclude, Member for Sotik.
Madam Speaker, I think that was a point of information which the member was concerned about these students who are going out. Madam Speaker, I want to conclude.
Who do you want to inform, Member for Sotik?
I'm talking about the honorable member who interrupted me.
But I need to ask her whether she would like to be informed by yourself. No. Member for Kisii, would you like to be informed by?
No.
No.
I was just concerned.
In that case, Member for Sotik, please, you have 2 minutes. Conclude.
Madam Speaker,
2 minutes, please.
I want to conclude by saying that the Kenya Police Service is playing a very, very crucial role, and this House must support the Kenya Police Service by allocating more resources, by giving them housing, by looking at the issue of promotion so that we don't have the issue of corruption. Corruption is a major problem in this country, but we must look at corruption in this area and look at how to tackle it. Maraga reforms are reforms which are also progressive, and if members of parliament must look at these reforms because it's a big thing which is coming up, and this government is implementing it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kisii County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Indeed, it's high time that we made the reforms on the police. More especially, Madam Speaker, you find that they have a big load. They don't have a balance. They don't have a ratio. Like in other countries, you will find 100 civilians allocated maybe to 2 police or even 1 police. They are being overwhelmed because they serve a magnitude. Their work should balance. Everything should have that ratio. As the same way, we always seek to have the same balance in schools. We say that the teacher-student ratio. That ratio, Madam Speaker, should also be factored in the police. And that's why I felt before the students leave, because the teachers always want to give proper lessons to good number of our class, not to have like 100 learners with one teacher. Like when we had JSS, Madam Speaker, there was a lot of noise. The teacher ratio is not balancing. So, Madam Speaker, please, in that view, allow me to welcome Mutongoni in the house. They are looking very smart. Girls and boys, you work very hard. I see it's a mixed school. You reduce the sharing of love notes in class. You can be spiritual. You can do more Bible verses, encourage one another. And then to the teachers of Mutongoni, karibuni sana to Parliament. And then, of course, Madam Speaker, it's only that today my daughter has decided to behave well. I can't see her smiling. She's just my duplicate. She's there. So thank you. She's there. She was even campaigning for me in her school in 2022. So make sure you follow the nini of your mother. You become the next leader. That's all, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Okay. The Honorable Esther Passaris, member for Nairobi County, Nairobi City.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the National Police Service Amendment Bill 2025. Madam Speaker, for me, I feel that every amendment that is brought, and this one I think is trying to primarily address the issue of retirement, which was not captured in the bill. So bills are made and they're not cast in stone, and we continuously continue to amend them so that we can be able to grow a very strong police force. Madam Speaker, we always see people criticizing the police force and always thinking of the police just in terms of the response that they have during demonstrations. For me, I feel the police, we cannot do without the police. We need the police. A nation without police is total anarchy. And we have to reach a point where we respect the police force and the work that they're mandated to do. For me, we have seen lots of challenges cutting across, not just for the police force, but also for the citizens of this county of Nairobi. I'm really pleased to see that, for instance, there's a time we went Central Bank for the people that work in the police force that give them security. Central Bank put fantastic housing for them. Right now, with the housing fund, the housing levy, we are able to now provide institutional housing and hostels for our students. But for me, giving the police more resources so that we can have more training is important. When we look at cutting budgets, we should not cut the budget for the police. When we look at creating job opportunities, we should look at how we can increase the number of the police. As the population grows, to say that you have one policeman to 500 citizens, how do you expect that one policeman in a situation where you have a demonstration to be able to manage that situation? So I feel we need to look at the police and appreciate their work. We cannot tell an institution that everything is wrong about you. Yesterday, I was so proud of the police force because you had the incident in Nakuru where there was a femicide, where a young woman lost her life and her neck was chopped off. And here is a family that is in distress. And there you find the police have gone and they've already arrested the perpetrator. We had another incident here in Mukuru where a boda had actually gone and done arson, and we lost a little girl in the incident in the Mukuru affordable housing. Within no time, the police had got them. So for me, I feel that there are areas where the police are doing a very good job. And we need to also understand that. But there's also the issue of resources. A country sometimes has limited resources, and you find that we're not able to spread it across all the areas that need attention. So for me, I feel that if we put money in improving the police stations, if we put money in improving their accommodation, if we put money in improving their training, and then also their remuneration, we will do well as a country. So for me, it's to appreciate the police force for what they do and to also engage with them so that we can be able, between Parliament and the institution that provides our security, to give them the very best so that they can serve Wananchi well. So for me, as I stand here, I just want to say to the police force, we appreciate you. We remember that you're there and you're serving us and you're providing security to all of us, and we want you to continue. The ones who have gone offline, we have the IPOA, and the IPOA is supposed to do what they have to do. Right now, Madam Speaker, I'm dealing with a case where there was a police who ran over a young boy called Ryan, and it was in an estate. And Ryan's mother was so busy because Ryan became paralyzed from the waist down. She was so busy working, trying to save her son and trying to get him the best treatment. So she was time barred when it came to going to court. But I got her a lawyer and we managed to get the case reinstated, and now the police have been enjoined, and now Ryan is going to get justice. What I want to say is where the police force has actually done something wrong, we need to budget, all right? We need to budget for reparation so that the families that require this money, you know, sometimes something is wrong, you know it's wrong. Like for instance, if you have an accident on the road and you're two people and you know you've had an accident, you have insurance, both of you, you know who's at fault. Why not accept liability? I mean, there are times when I've had an accident on the road, and if I know I am wrong, I actually tell the person I accept liability, and I tell my insurer I have paid you. Insurance companies tell us do not accept liability. So in the same way, I want government to operate in that manner. When we know that the deaths that were caused by the police were wrongful, then there is no need to make the family go through such a tiresome process to try and get compensation. We should be able to have a budget for compensation. They should be able to actually tell us that this death was caused wrongfully and we need to be able to compensate. But for me, over and all, I believe that we need to also figure out a way. I mean, these speed cameras, I know a lot of people are against it. It's currently been stopped by the courts, but we will save the police a lot of hard, unnecessary work with the speed cameras, because the police might be at one point and at the other point, and then the overspeeding is in the middle, causing a lot of accidents and trying to engage a police force that is already strained with unnecessary work. If we have the cameras, and I remember the first week that the cameras were running, quite a number of drivers, even here in our parking, had all received messages telling them you have a fine of X amount, X amount. And I said to my driver, now you know you're on your own if you're going to overspeed, so do not break any laws. So we need that discipline in the country. That if we're going to raise money from the indiscipline of Kenyans, eventually Kenyans will realize that indiscipline is costly. Once they realize indiscipline is costly, there will not be overspeeding. We will reduce road carnage. We will also allow the police to focus on other areas. I believe as a government, we want to have a society where in the end, we're not just filling up our prisons, we're creating opportunity and we're managing our people. I also believe that the police should have open days in their stations with the people, the citizens that they serve, so that they can be able to harmonize. We don't want to look at a police officer and think, oh, he's just somebody who wants a bribe from me, or he's somebody who's inefficient. I believe that as a country, these police officers did not come from outer space. These police officers are Kenyan citizens. They are our sons and our daughters, and they are working hard. So while we ridicule, let's not stereotype, because not every officer out there it has caused you harm or is going to cause you harm. They're there for law and order. So I want to stand here and say I support the amendment. I believe they should have a retirement age of 60, and I also support that they should be given more resources, and I support that they should be given training, and they should be also given dignified living, which I thank the President for ensuring that we have institutional houses that can actually move the police to dignified living. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Before Ochanda starts contributing, I want to recognize the presence in the public gallery. Order Honorable Waluke and company there. Can't turn this place into some kind of a, should I say a camel market instead of fish market? Okay, thank you. I want to recognize the presence of the DB onto Lily School, Buri West constituency in Meru.
And I want to order, honorable member. Order. I will ask the honorable Rindikiri. Is there any other MP from Meru here in the House, in the chambers this moment? The honorable Rindikiri, please give a word of encouragement to these future leaders of this country.
Thank you.
And tell them that you are already getting tired, so they should prepare to come and take over your place. Doesn't have to be the next 5 years, it can be the next 10 years. Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a privilege to welcome DB Ontelili from Bori West, which is one of the sub-county that forms Bori constituency, which I represent here in Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this school is in a very dry area. It's a school that we have put up from the scratch. And what you are seeing are determined children who are ready to make it in life. I'm happy that they have come here to see the house where laws of this country is made. I see the faces of those children and see future leaders. I see future engineers. I see future doctors. I see good citizens of this country. I want to welcome them here in this house and tell them you can be a member of parliament in this place. Yours is to work very hard. Please maintain discipline. Please listen to your teachers. Obey your parents. Please sit down, lead, and work hard. The future is in your hands. I thank the teachers and the school administration for bringing you here, and it is not in vain. This historical visit of this school is going to be something in the future. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think so that the ladies also feel encouraged. I'll ask Madam Nyazi. Amina, you could do it in Swahili also to encourage the ladies in the public gallery from DB Ntulili School.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, wacha nichukue fursa hii niweze kukaribisha wanafunzi wetu, watoto wetu waweze kufika katika jumba kuu. Hii ndio ni parliament, hapa ndipo ambapo sheria za nchi nzima zinapotungwa. Na kama mnavyoona hapa kuna viongozi tofauti tofauti. Mimi naitwa Amina Mnyazi na ni mbunge wa Malindi. Ni kuwaombea tu ya kwamba nyinyi bado ni watoto. Tunaomba muongeze bidii katika masomo yenu. Tunaomba muweze kuiga mifano ya wale viongozi bora katika taifa letu la Kenya, na tunaombea mema katika maisha yenu. Asanteni sana na karibuni sana hapa.
Thank you. Honorable Ochanda, followed by the Honorable Rachel Nyamai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, from our side, let me say that I really support this amendment. And it's been a big anomaly in this country that we've been talking about an IG, head of police service, without an age limit. I think this has been a big anomaly that the amendment is trying to bring around, which is perfect. We must have an age limit for purposes of even the others in the career, for issues of professional and career progression, get to know that, no, there is a stage at which we have to. What's happening, Mr. Speaker? I was seeing some light.
No, that's nothing to do with you. Proceed.
Okay, thanks. So what I'm trying to say is that, Mr. Speaker, for purpose of professional and career progression, there are those who are normally below the IG. They want to look forward to getting into these positions when they still have some time to service. So, Mr. Speaker, when the age goes, we allow an officer to serve for more than the age limit that is required generally in the whole country for all the other services. I think this has been very unfair, and it's good that the amendment is trying to look at it. If you look at the issue of the lower cadres below the AG, the deputies, the issue of serving terms, like the AG is proposed to serve now, IG is proposed to serve for 4 years, and then the deputies to serve for 5 years. I think this is perfect for purpose of transitional purposes, such that we don't just get deputies getting into IG at a time when the transition arrangements are not properly in place, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to digress a little bit as we look at this, Mr. Speaker, because the police service has a lot of challenges. Police service has a lot of challenges. As at now, we have the biggest challenge in terms of issues of vehicles. In my constituency, Mr. Speaker, there is a police station that has not had a vehicle for the last 5 years. Mr. Speaker, there is a police station in my constituency that has not had a vehicle for the last number of months, yet it is a border station. So you can imagine what the police in these stations are going through. They have to carry suspects in motorcycles. They have to carry a lot of investigation through motorcycles. And these motorcycles, there's no arrangement that is put in place for them to be doing this. So you get the OCS doesn't have the money, doesn't have the capital, or doesn't have the facility to do, and as an alternate to the car, there's nothing else. So, Mr. Speaker, I think the police service needs to be, particularly the issue of the vehicles needs to be looked at afresh, because it's not just my constituency alone, but I'm aware there are many other constituencies now that have polling stations that don't have vehicles. And it is very, very, very difficult for police officers to work minus a police car. So, Mr. Speaker, as we look through the issues of retirement and stuff like that, the service itself also needs to be looked at thoroughly, such that they are facilitated to work well. It's not very easy for a police officer to be walking around on foot in the villages, looking around for suspects and stuff like that when they're not, their security becomes really a challenge, Mr. Speaker. So I support the amendment, and I want to wish that this be followed very quickly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also contribute to this very important bill. I support it, Honorable Speaker, and I would like to congratulate the Honorable Oko Kaunya. And Honorable Speaker, for those who may not know, the person who is the mover, the originator of this bill, he has a lot of experience in the police service. He was a regional commissioner of police. He was in charge of the AP training school, and he has served in the police service, and he has a lot of understanding on the challenges that may exist within the police service. So I would like to congratulate him for that, and also congratulate him for being very useful when he was a member of the Security Committee, because he did a lot of work, giving support to the chair in the 12th Parliament, and he did a lot of work, Honorable Speaker, and I would like to congratulate him. Honorable Speaker, as I support this bill is going to bring sanity in terms of the age of retirement, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I take a lot of time to follow what happens in the world in terms of wars in the world. And Honorable Speaker, the army or the police officers who win are the ones who have the best education, who have the best experience, who have the best tools, including IT tools, and who have everything, including artificial intelligence. So we would like to see the best people in the police service, and of course, at the topmost position of the IG. Honorable Speaker, this bill brings sanity in terms of the age of retirement, that when someone reaches the age of 60, is that they need to retire and give way to others. When you look at the qualifications, Honorable Speaker, they are very wide. They have not restricted to only those who have done security courses. They have expanded this, and this is on page 899 of this bill, where they have included not only criminal justice, but they have added policy development and implementation, finance and public administration, strategic management, security, law, sociology, governance, such that someone will not be told, you cannot be an inspector general because you have not done security. So this is quite a progressive bill, Honorable Speaker. This bill also ensures that the DIG, the case of the DIG, Honorable Speaker, has been not so clear. It has put not only the age limit, but also added that whatever befalls the IG also befalls the deputy IG, where they have put an age limit of 60 years and also included qualifications, such that you do not bring a person who may not be qualified, who we may not be proud of as they speak. Honorable Speaker, we are always happy when we see our IG, our DIG speaking in confidence in all languages, including English, good Kiswahili, and even good our native languages when they are called to do so. So this gives us an opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to ensure that we have highly qualified people, people who have served in service. I like the fact that this bill has also protected people who are working in the police service, that someone needs to not only have the qualifications, but must have served in the police service for more than 15 years. This gives encouragement to our young security officers, those who, it does not even give the lower limit, Honorable Speaker. That means that a young person who has done extremely well, who has the right qualifications, can also be a DIG or BIG in this country. Honorable Speaker, we have very good police officers in our constituencies, Honorable Speaker. I know that we have some bad elements, but majority of them serve in very difficult areas, areas of Moda, areas of Ikoda, areas of Kanziko, where they even find themselves assisting with dealing with the matters that are not even within their line, social issues within the community. And as I stand here, I would like to take this opportunity to thank them for giving themselves to live in our rural areas, even others to live in Mandera, the farthest, ensuring that we are secure in this country. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the President for being bold and saying that we must have the housing project, which does not only benefit our schools, our KMTCs, where we have gotten a lot of benefit, generally our schools and our institutions, but also, yes, the President has said that this project must do institutional housing for our police officers so that they can have dignified lives, so that they stop living in uni huts. Honorable Speaker, I know the experience that you have in this house and outside this house. As you did a lot before you came to this house, you must have seen the uni huts where police officers used to live. And now, with the institutional housing, we have hope that our police officers will live well. So congratulations to the Honorable Oku Kaunya for the work that you did before you came to this house, for the work that you did in the 11th.
Madam Nyamai, just to underscore what you said, I went to the administration police lines in Garissa not too long ago. And I saw the room which my father, as a corporal, lived in. As a family of 4, we lived in one room, one small room that was left behind by the colonial government. It's a shame for our officers to still be housed in those, and seriously dilapidated right now, the same red bricks that they used to use for construction those olden days. So something has got to be done, and I'm talking about 1964. 1964 is what? 62 years since independence. We've not been able to improve the living quarters of our servicemen and women who are awake day and night to protect us. And we complain about them being corrupt without giving them all the basic tools: nice environment to live, good salary, serious covers, compensation when they die in the line of action. A lot needs to be done for our security apparatus in here before we start blaming them. Continue. I feel I have to. My dad, who is now 94 years old, was a corporal in 1964. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for filling me in. Clearly, you have much more experience than I do. And concerning this matter of housing, Honorable Speaker, that is where I was. And I would like to thank this government because we have hope that our police officers will not continue to share the uni huts, which are being shared by more than one family, and that we look forward to a time when the police officers will be happy with their enumeration, with the way their services are. We are happy. At least we have seen that there is a form of insurance, especially when the police officers are hurt in the course of duty, or even those who unfortunately they are police officers. We are not saying that they have everything they need. No, they need a lot more to be done. But as I support this bill by the Honorable Oko Kaunya, I would like to say that it is a good opportunity to say that a lot of work has been done in the police service, but we would like to see more. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
The Honorable Amina Mnyazi. Unaweza kuongea kutumia lugha ya kitaifa.
Asante, Speaker.
Na kwa jambo la fahari.
Yes, tena la furaha sana Mheshimiwa Speaker. Leo Mheshimiwa Speaker, niko na furaha sana kuweza kuweka mchangisho wangu kuhusu huduma ya polisi ya taifa. Mheshimiwa Speaker, huu mswada wenye ambao uko hapa mbele yetu, jambo la kwanza nataka lieleweke ya kwamba naunga mkono huu mswada wenye ambao uko hapa, kwa sababu mswada huu saizi umeweza kuleta uwazi ya ile kazi, ya ile uzoefu, ya sifa ya mkaguzi mkuu, ambayo mkaguzi mkuu Mheshimiwa Speaker kwa Kiswahili ndio ni IG, pamoja na naibu mkaguzi mkuu ambao ni DIG wake. Mheshimiwa Speaker, vitu kama hivi ndivyo ambavyo sisi tunavihitaji ili kuweza kuendeleza Kenya yetu. Na kama vile wabunge wenzangu walivyoweza kuizungumza, hii mwenendo wenye ambao tunaanza kuweka saizi itatusaidia sisi Mheshimiwa Speaker. Kama vile katika amri kuu la jeshi mambo yanavyofanyika bila aina ya siasa yote kuweza kuingizwa pale katikati. Na pia sisi tunataka kuona ya kwamba hii huduma ya polisi ya taifa letu la Kenya iwe inaweza kufanya kazi bila hujuma ama bila mapendekezo yote kwa upande wa wanasiasa. Na mswada huu nimefurahika ya kwamba imeweza kuzungumza kuhusu hususan hawa watu wawili, na mimi naunga mkono kwa sababu katika hizi kazi mbili muhimu Mheshimiwa Speaker, ya mkaguzi mkuu pamoja na naibu wake, tunahitaji watu ambao wako na uzoefu wa kazi. Watu wenye ambao wamepanda katika hizi huduma za polisi kuanzia chini mpaka kuweza kufika juu, watu ambao wanaelewa kinaga ubaga kazi ya ofisi, department tofauti tofauti, kazi yake ni ipi na challenges zenye ambazo ziko hapo ni gani. Tunataka watu ambao wanaelewa na wako na uzoefu ya hii kazi. Ukumbuke Mheshimiwa Speaker, mkaguzi mkuu pamoja na naibu wake ni watu wenye ambao tunaangalia uzoefu wa kazi yao zaidi. Hatuangalii misuli ya mwili ama kama anaweza kukimbia ama anything. Sisi tunataka watu ambao wako na experience. Mtu mwenye ambaye akili yake iko na hekima, mtu mwenye ambaye anaweza kudirect vizuri ili hapa Kenya kuweze kuendelea kuwa na amani. Mheshimiwa Speaker, tunapokaa hapa leo kuzungumza kuhusu huu mswada ya huduma ya polisi katika taifa letu la Kenya, na mimi naunga huu mswada wa leo, lakini pia ni muhimu tuweze kuangalia wale mapolisi wadogo wadogo Mheshimiwa Speaker, kwa sababu sisi saizi tunazungumza kuhusu mkaguzi mkuu pamoja na naibu wake, na tayari najua kuna sheria zenye ambazo ziko, lakini shida yetu hapa Mheshimiwa Speaker ni kwamba kuna sheria wa kadha zenye ambazo hazifuatilizwi vizuri, na ndio maana maybe tunaona kuna makosa madogo ambayo yako hapa na pale. Mheshimiwa Speaker, jambo la kwanza lenye ambalo pia ningependa lipigwe msasa hususan kwa upande wa kikosi cha polisi ni kitu ambacho kinaitwa uhamisho ama transfer. Mheshimiwa Speaker, hili jambo lazima liangolewe vizuri zaidi. Ni vibaya sana kwa polisi kuweza kukaa katika kituo kimoja zaidi ya miaka 10, miaka 15. Mapolisi hao Mheshimiwa Speaker, mwisho wa siku wanaungana na wahalifu wa yale maeneo na wanashikana. Kama kuna msako wa mihadarati, wanawapatia information, kushikwa hawa watu ni matatizo. Kama kuna shida ya maoza wa vijana wa vipanga, wanawajua na kwenda kuwashika, inakuwa ni matatizo. So Mheshimiwa Speaker, hizi sheria za uhamasisho ama transfer lazima pia nazo tuweze kuzitilia mkazo zaidi. Kama ni polisi amefika mahali katika kituo, tujue pia ile time limit ni atakaa pale kwa muda gani, ili baada ule muda aweze kuondoka kwenda kuserve kwingine katika taifa letu la Kenya. Mheshimiwa Speaker, jambo la pili pia ambalo ningependa litiliwe msasa ni kuhusu kukuza ama tuseme promotion za kazi. Kama tunajua tuna different tuko na tofauti, vikosi tofauti vya mapolisi, lakini pia vile vile si haki kwa polisi mmoja kukaa katika kazi moja zaidi ya miaka 10, Mheshimiwa Spika. So pia hili lazima tuliweze kulekea msasa ya kwamba leo kama umeandikwa we ni constable, after certain, baada ya muda kadhaa lazima nawe uweze kupandishwa cheo, Mheshimiwa Spika, ili hawa watu wetu na mapolisi wetu waweze kuendelea. Masuala ya training, masuala ya mafunzo, Mheshimiwa Spika, pia ni jambo muhimu kwa kikosi chetu cha mapolisi, ili kila baada ya muda, najua inaendelea, lakini napenda ya kwamba serikali iweze kuongeza nguvu zaidi, waweze kwenda kufanya hizi mafunzo na hizo training. Na la mwisho kabisa, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kitu ambacho kinaitwa counseling kwa mapolisi wetu. Ningependelea pia ya kwamba tuweze kuweka counseling nzuri na madhubuti zaidi katika police station zetu, ili mapolisi wetu nao waweze kuzungumza yale mambo ambayo yanawasumbua akili ama yanawatatiza katika maisha yao. Nasema hivi kwa sababu, Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna mapolisi wenye ambao wanapitia shida, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kuna mapolisi wenye ambao wengine wamekuwa ni addict, ni walevi, kila siku wanakwenda kulewa, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na vitu vidogo vidogo kama hivyo, niko na imani ya kwamba watu wakikaa wakiongeleshwa, zile dhiki ambazo wako nazo za rohoni na za akilini tunaweza kuzitatua, Mheshimiwa Spika. So mimi leo niko hapa kuweza kuunga mkono mswada. Asanteni sana.
Mheshimiwa Karoli Omondi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to lend support to this bill. I don't think we could have found a more worthy member or more experienced member than the Honorable Oku Kaunya to introduce this particular bill and to work through it with the interested stakeholders. He's a man with extensive experience in the discipline service, and I'm very glad to support his bill. Madam Speaker, the main thrust of this is that the retirement age of the Inspector General of Police will be 60 years old. I've read the report and also did some little research. In South Africa, India, and Nigeria, actually the heads of police service retire at the age of 60. But as somebody who also attended a junior paramilitary training called the National Youth Service, I think at the age of 60, it may become increasingly difficult for members of the service to do something they call 5BX, which is a mandatory physical exercise every morning. And if you allow me, I could intermingle language a bit for purposes of demonstration as the standing orders allow. You know, in the service, they'll tell you, kidevu juu, kifua mbele, matako nyuma, miguu square. That may become increasingly difficult.
What is out of order? The Honorable Barasa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to inform the Honorable Karoli Omondi that the IG...
I need to ask the Honorable Karoli Omondi whether he would like to be informed.
No.
Okay, then in that case, Honorable Barasa, you'll get a chance. Now, unfortunately, the rules of the House say that if the person you want to inform doesn't want, then... So please proceed, Honorable Karoli Omondi.
Yeah, lately I'm under a lot of attack. That's why I did not allow my friend to inform me. I don't know where he's coming from. So, Madam Speaker, as I said, in the disciplined forces, physical fitness is one very important attribute. And disciplined services, hierarchy is equally important. So I believe the age of 60 for purposes of retirement is adequate. However, I must insist on assurances that this will not apply retroactively, because at present we have a very capable and able Inspector General of Police, Mr. Douglas Kanja, and I hope that this will not apply retroactively to affect IG Douglas Kanja. In fact, as a House, I think we need to make that very clear, that there will be no retroactive application of the retirement age of 60. And we respect Honorable Douglas Kanja's contract of 4 years until he retires naturally, as was in the old order. Secondly, I would like to propose that the IG be a person who has risen through the ranks of the police service. If you look at the proposal on qualifications, we are opening it to anybody with 15 years experience in different fields. Yet when we go to the Deputy Inspector General, we are limiting it to those who have the experience within the service. I think for purposes of good order, we need to protect the service against people who may, for political reasons, find their way there and demotivate members of the service. We need to make an amendment here that whoever will be appointed IG should have had security experience, security sector experience, whether in the service, police service, or military, or somewhere else, so that the hierarchy of the disciplined service is maintained. I would also like to add that there was a proposal that the bill be amended, be redone further to offer protection to those in office from arbitrary political removal. I think we need to look into that and see how we can insulate police officers from arbitrary political action that may intimidate them and discourage them from upholding the rule of law. There is also a proposal under Section 11 that the Deputy Inspector General be appointed by the President on the recommendation of the Commission. I agree with that, but I think we should take it further and insist that that recommendation be based on competitive selection. That is what our Constitution requires. So if a person is being recommended for IG by the Commission, they must have held some interviews and opened up that particular position to competition. With those, I support, and I will be moving certain amendments. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable John Waluke, member for Sirisia.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance also to contribute on this Police Service Amendment Bill.
Honorable member for Sirisia, please take your seat. Honorable members, please allow me to give this opportunity to the Honorable Jackson Kosgei, our nominated member. I'll come to you, member for Sirisia.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. On the onset, as I take the floor, I support this bill on the National Police Service Amendment Bill 2025 by the Honorable Kaunya. Madam Speaker, I can read, as my colleagues have mentioned, about the appointment of the IG, that the priority should be given to the members of the police service, and for reasons that has been outlined before. So in this amendment, it should be very clear that we are giving by law the priority to the force itself, so that the 15 years mentioned gives priority to them. And the other thing is that this amendment will clarify the relationship between the IG and the National Police Service Commission to avoid some conflict that has been seen and taken them to court recently. Also, Madam Speaker, as we look at this amendment, I wish to appeal to Kenyans that police service are serving in the interest of every citizen. We need to be patriotic enough, respect them as the law enforcement agencies on behalf of the citizens and every one of us. When we see them by the road, when we meet them, when we interact with them, it is not an issue of us versus them, but they are serving the citizens of this country. Madam Speaker, we need to consider that in our budgeting processes in the country, we give police service the priority. It heartens to hear about police asking for private facilitators to give them vehicles or even fuel and yet they are serving the interests of the country. It has been said the role of a police service in any country is to enforce the law. They are the ones mandated to enforce the law within the borders of a nation, with the interest of every citizen in mind. It is to prevent or deter crime. It is to provide emergency response to the people and provide support service for other institutions that serves the citizens of Kenya. Why should they not be a priority in our budget? So I'm appealing that this House strengthen in our budget, apportioning resources enough for our police service. And finally, Madam Speaker, is that we need to consider the welfare of those of our men and women in uniform in issues, matters welfare. We have some of them who have been injured in the course of duty. We would like that when the regulation shall be put, it has to come out very well that our men and women who have suffered some injuries in the course of duty or beyond their services, welfare will take care of our officers. With that, Madam Speaker, I support.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Sirisia.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Oko Kaunya for bringing this bill. It was long overdue, Honorable Speaker, because there are so many challenges in the police force. Honorable Speaker, I know Honorable Kaunya has been the first, and he worked well, and he knew when he was preparing this bill to bring it on the floor of the House. So from onset, Honorable Speaker, I want to support this bill. Honorable Speaker, there are a lot of challenges that are facing our police force. Some of them, Honorable Speaker, is about the welfare of the police force, or let me say the uniformed people, right from military, police, AP, or prison, all of them have many challenges that we, government need to give it priority because their work is important for this nation, Honorable Speaker, because without security, the country cannot be governed. Honorable Speaker, for example, the challenges of vehicles. Of late, Honorable Speaker, in many areas or counties or police stations, we've not been having vehicles in the station. And police, most of the time, these officers are using border motorbikes, which is also very dangerous to their lives. They are exposed to even their enemies. You know, Honorable Speaker, sometimes they also, when they arrest people, there are people who target them, and the government need to take it seriously and very fast to make sure that vehicles are available. Honorable Speaker, like in my constituency, Honorable Speaker, there's no vehicle. My constituency or sub-count doesn't have any vehicle, even one. I used to have 4 of them, but they were taken to areas that had problems like Lamu and also Mount Elgon. But these vehicles have not been brought back. So my officers, police officers, Honorable Speaker, are having so many problems in terms of police operations. And we are on the border, Honorable Speaker. Sometimes our neighbors come and steal animals in our sub-county, and now police officers cannot even move. So mobility for the police officers all over the country, Madam Speaker, should be checked. Honorable Speaker, on retirement, because this is transition of an officer who has been appointed for 5 years, like the IG. Honorable Speaker, to me, Madam Speaker, this person, after serving and reaches his age of retirement, the Honorable Speaker, he or she must leave, because we are trying to bring up our young people also who are on that line. When one leaves, the IG leaves, Madam Speaker, the positions that are going to be created is right from the IG down, tickling down to the corporal, the rank of a corporal. So in the middle, there's a chain of ranks that has been created. So, Madam Speaker, 60 years, you know, the research that was made that when you reach 60 years, initially it was 55, you are supposed to leave the service so that you go and rest, because they knew that after 55 or 60 years, I think your brain is also tired and you could not work very well. So, Madam Speaker, we cannot say that if someone was appointed maybe 2-3 years ago and his age is over, Madam Speaker, this bill should immediately after we pass it, that person, if there's one who is holding a position with either 61 years or 62 years, Madam Speaker, to me, that person should leave the office, quit and leave for another officer to take over. So for those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I support the bill.
Thank you. The Honorable Irene Mayaka, nominated member.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa hii fursa ili na mimi nichangie katika mjadala huu wa marekebisho ya mswada wa huduma ya polisi katika taifa la Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwanza kabisa nimshukuru Mheshimiwa Oku Kaunya kwa kuleta mswada huu, kwa sababu yeye kama mmoja wao ambaye alifanya kazi katika huduma ya usalama katika nchi hii na amechangia sana katika nafasi hiyo, tunamshukuru kwa sababu ameleta mswada ambao inasaidia sana. Mheshimiwa Spika, mswada huu kwanza kabisa inalenga kuhakikisha kwamba kazi ambayo Inspector General wa Police anafanya inakuwa na ile limit ya miaka, kana kwamba Mheshimiwa Spika, wale ambao wanafanya kazi katika utumishi wa umma pia ukifika miaka 60 unafaa kustaafu. Hii mswada inahakikisha ya kwamba hata pia katika ile nafasi ya polisi tumehakikisha ya kwamba hiyo pia inatekelezwa, ili watu wote ambao wanafanya kazi katika huduma ya polisi, watu wote ambao wanafanya kazi katika utumishi wa umma waweze kuwa na nafasi sawa ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba mtu ambaye anafika miaka 60 anaweza kustaafu. Ya pili, Mheshimiwa Spika, katika marekebisho ambayo Mheshimiwa Oku Kaunya ameleta ni ile marekebisho ya kusema ya kwamba ule ambaye anafanya kazi kama Deputy Inspector General pia anafanya kazi kwa muda wa miaka 5 mara moja peke yake. Hii pia Mheshimiwa Spika inasaidia sana, kwa sababu katika ile nafasi ambayo tunaona ya watu ambao wanapanda cheo kwenda kuwa Inspector General, ama mtu ambaye anafanya kazi kama msaidizi wa Inspector General apate kuwa na nafasi moja peke yake ya kufanya kazi hiyo na kuonyesha umaarufu wake ili wengine wapate hiyo nafasi. Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka kusema ya kwamba pia ingawaje ya kwamba tunataka kukua na marekebisho haya na tunayaunga mkono, pia nitake kusema ya kwamba wale ambao wanafanya kazi kama polisi katika nchi hii ya Kenya wanafanya kazi ambayo ni ya maana sana, na tunataka kuhakikisha kwamba tuna wale ambao wako na nafasi ya uongozi katika huduma hiyo ya polisi wanahakikisha kwamba wako na kazi rahisi ya kufanya, wanapatiwa manyumba ambayo iko sawa, wanapatiwa nguo zile za sera ambazo wanavaa ambazo ziko safi, ziko sawa, na ya kwamba wanapofanya kazi hii na wanapotumikia wananchi wengine wa Kenya wakuwe ya kwamba akili zao pia ziko timamu wakati ambapo wanapata kitu ambacho inaitwa counseling. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, yangu tu ni kumshukuru Mheshimiwa Oku Kaunya kwa kuleta marekebisho haya ili sisi kama bunge la kitaifa tuhakikishe ya kwamba tunaleta mjadala na marekebisho kwa mswada ambazo zinaweza kusaidia Wakenya wote. Kwa hayo machache naunga mkono. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
The Honorable Didmas Barasa, also known as Titimas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to be clear that I support this bill with serious amendments. As much as some members have alluded to the fact that when you are at the age of 60, that your brains are tired, I don't agree, Madam Speaker, because in this country, the judge of the High Court retires at the age of 70. The Chief Justice retired at the age of 70. And I want to bring to the attention of the House that the holder of the position of Inspector General, his duties are completely different from a police corporal or a police constable. This is a crime buster. He does administrative duties, and even if he's at the age of 70 or 65, he is not required to be doing those exercises that the Honorable Karoli Omondi was talking about. Even if he has a belly bigger than our former Minister for Interior, but his duty is to issue command. He can issue command while drinking tea, his cigarette if he smokes, and he is exempted from those rigorous exercises. This is an individual who must have the experience in studying the crime patterns in our country and reviewing the police standing orders in order to ensure that we live in a country that has minimum crime, Madam Speaker. So I will be moving an amendment to increase the retirement age of an Inspector General of Police and his DIGs, including the Director of CID, Madam Speaker. These are people who should be retired at the age of 60. If we trust the brains of a judge of a high court, if we trust the brain of a Chief Justice of our country, that at the age of 60, they still have to benefit this country with the experience that they have in matters law, even an Inspector General of Police at the age of 60, at the age of 65. In fact, Madam Speaker, the more older the Inspector General, the more older the IG, the more intelligent they are in terms of using their experience that they have acquired in fighting crime in this country. And it makes them even be more fit to hold that position of the Inspector General. I also note that in this bill, Madam Speaker, and I'll be proposing to delete some sections, because if we need to make it clear that for you to be an IG or a DIG, you must be from within the service. And when you are from within the service, the issues of Chapter 6 should not come into play because you're already serving in the service. If there is anybody who has contravened Chapter 6 of the Constitution, whether you are an OCPD, whether you are a account commander of police, they should be removed from the service so that by the time when the President is appointing an Inspector General or a DIG from within the service, it means those people are already fit to serve in those positions of the service, Madam Speaker. And even when you talk of Chapter 6 takes care of if you have been convicted, you need not to repeat. Chapter 6 is broader. It covers all those kind of things, Madam Speaker. Nonetheless, I want to take this opportunity to thank the sponsor of this bill, Honorable Oku Kaunya, and Oku Kaunya served he served in the administration in this country, and he understands what requires to be done to improve the police service. But also, Madam Speaker, even as we seek to improve this bill, we must also try to make the office of the DIG, the office of Inspector General, to be immune from political interference. We must also try to improve the conditions of the police service in the manner in which the police carry out their operations, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this bill, I will be proposing more amendments to improve it further and to make it, to ensure that what should be considered within the rank and file of the police that one has to satisfy. We must go down to look at, even the OCS, how did they execute their functions as officer commanding station? If there were police commanders, so that we put in place an inspector general going to use their experience to ensure that Kenya as a country, Kenyans operate in a crime-free areas, Madam Speaker. Without much ado, Honorable Speaker, I want to make it reiterate that I support this, this bill, only that the amendments, I will bring in amendments so that we can exclude the Inspector General of Police and the DIGs and other senior command officers from retiring at the age of 60. They should borrow what happens in the military. In the military, a corporal who is required to be physically fit retires at the age of 45. At the age of 45, if you have not gone up to a sergeant, you automatically retire. Your services are no longer required. When you are a sergeant, you begin to handle some administrative duties, and a warrant officer, you retire at the age of 52. Warrant officers, 55. But senior military officers who are war planners, they retire at the age of 65 and 70. So we should not exclude the National Police Service from these provisions because the Constitution and the laws equalizes all Kenyans. So we can't be saying in one hand that, that a judge of the High Court is mentally stable at the age of 69. And then on the other hand, we are saying that a police officer is mentally unstable at the age of 60. Those are double standards which we don't want to. We want a country of equity and fairness, where all people are given equal opportunities. Even the President, Honorable Speaker, if the President of the Republic of Kenya has no age limit, as long as you are elected, even if you are 100 years, you run the country. We must equalize, because Kenya is not an animal farm, where some animals are better than the other. Kenya is a land of equal opportunities, regardless of age, so we should work around that level, Madam Speaker. For all these many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support, of course, with amendments.
Thank you. The Honorable Charles Ngusia, member for Mwingi West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. And let me begin by congratulating and appreciating the good work my friend Kaunya has done since he came to Parliament. And I think we have been attending to Jim with this member, and I would like to request the people of his constituency to re-elect him again for the good work he has been doing in Parliament for those years he was sent by the people here. Madam Speaker, I'll begin by supporting this bill simply because of two issues. It is seeking to provide an age limit of Inspector General and his deputy. And secondly, it is going to address the issues of the capacity and ability to handle the demanding nature of this job, Madam Speaker, the AG and the deputy, what they go through on a daily basis. Madam Speaker, if you visit these offices and you see these people, they go through strenuous activities on a daily basis. Throughout the clock, the IG, the Deputy Inspector General is ever busy addressing the issues of security, the issues of fence, maintenance of the law in the country, maintenance of law and order, and all these duties demands serious person with capacity and health actually to address the issues, Madam Speaker. This bill is very important, and it is good we support it so that we ensure when somebody attains the age of 60, he is relieved from this physical and mental kind of demanding nature of the job, and maybe we can get a young and dynamic person to continue with the legacy of this. Madam Speaker, we will not in concern because I sit in CIOC committee. There are conflicting roles of Deputy Inspector General, and also the Police Service Commission. I think we need to separate their issues because there's been conflicting issues when it comes to issues of transfer, issues of promotion, issues of training, and more importantly, recruitment and retention of these officers. We need to separate them, and we make sure each and every person in these offices, which are already enshrined in our constitution, the mandates are well clearly and spelled. Madam Speaker, we need also to address the issues as the challenges facing our police. The endemic corruption, of course, it is as a result of poor pay, or maybe policemen are not totally or adequately compensated. But I would like to appreciate the government for what it has done so far in improving the salaries of the policemen. We also need to ensure we address the challenges of inadequate housing. Right now, we have got housing levy, which is really a game changer in this country, building so many buildings all over. And we would like to collaborate with policemen to ensure all the police stations, the conditions are improved. All the police stations, we have got adequate housing for our officers to ensure they live in dignity, Madam Speaker. There are so many issues we can address, but not to digress from this bill, I would like to support it and ensure it is properly implemented. And with those few remarks, I fully support. Congratulations, Honorable Kauna, and keep on doing the good job for the people of Teso. Asante sana.
Thank you, the Honorable Florence Jematia. I'm sorry we are not able to view. I know that you have been seated there since morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I also want to join my colleagues in congratulating and supporting Bill entirely. And I want to also add to what members have said that Honorable Kaunya is deservedly a citizen who has served in this spectrum of security in Kenya. Madam Speaker, security is a paramount in every sphere of the society. And when we talk about amendments in this bill that gives the National Police Service Act, where we need to consider employment or appointment of an Inspector General, this is a very eminent clause or important in the Constitution, because a police person is a person of the society. It's a person who has endured through many ways, specifically in terms of security. When people go to sleep in the night, when people are expected to be, this is the only person Kenyans sit pretty is when a policeman is in charge. And in this capacity, Madam Speaker, we considering the DIG position. This is a person that should be of sound mind, and I like the proposition that has been given in the bill, that it should be a very well-versed in terms of constitution, a person, someone who understands the dynamics of the society. We live in a society today that things change every day and every minute because of the narrowing of the world through social media and technology. And this one is a very good component, because when we have a DIG who is able to understand matters criminal, management policies, strategic management, and all those kind of things, and even law. It will help the force, which is the National Police Force, to be able to be governed properly. Madam Speaker, I also noted here that as much as Honorable Kaunya is a member of parliament, he is dissuading that you cannot be qualified to be a DIG if you weren't served as a member of parliament or you are already serving as one. He has better reasons to that, but I think being a member of parliament is equally being like a police, Madam Speaker, because we do what every other person do. And if you look at it clearly, I don't mind if I was once a member of parliament and I am a DIG today, because I am able to understand the people and that I serve, because I had served them properly before. That is why they even gave me the opportunity to serve them, meaning they understand that I am able to do. Because one thing about politics is also the idiosyncrasy of the leader is what matters, the personality. As you know, we cannot be able to legislate morals. But many times we are always shortchanging ourselves when we call ourselves to such high disregards, and think that we are not able to do it because of the type of the jobs. And to that, probably I will ask the member to consider for a debate. The age is also a factor, Madam Speaker. By 60 years, it is quite reasonable for one to be employed to be 60 years and probably less. But sometimes people who are 60 years and above, honorable, are also able. These are people who have institutional memories of societies. These are people who we depend every day. That is why we have wazee in Nyumba Kumi. We can also have probably an office that is able to accommodate such people who have served in the civil service up to 60 years, and they are able to give services again to the society, because we still need them. Their basic understanding is better than someone who just walked in and served in that place. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, I want to support in totality, and I want to the amendment. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Joshua Kimilu, member for Kaiti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, I want first to congratulate the honorable member for coming up with such a bill. Madam Speaker, it's a very good and important bill, but Madam Speaker, because I came up with a bill in this house and it went through, and I have an experience when it comes to bills. Mr. Speaker, I want, later I'll talk to the honorable member so that we can come up with, on this amendment also, I input an amendment because there's something I want to correct, otherwise it's a good bill, and with a small amendment during the committee stage, Madam Speaker, I know we'll make this bill to be one of the best. And I want to say, when it comes to appointment of IG, Madam Speaker, it's important for us to be very sensitive of these people, because for one, I know what the police is going through in this country, Madam Speaker. The environment they work on, Madam Speaker, sometimes is pathetic. Sometimes they go through hell for their duties, Madam Speaker. You get when we are sleeping, others are still awake, protecting the Kenyans, Madam Speaker. So when we are handling the matters of police, we must be very sensitive and careful, because these are our sons, our daughters, and we also need to treat them well, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I remember in my constituency, in Kaiti constituency, I have 4 police stations, Madam Speaker. And when I go around checking on what they are doing, visiting them to know their grievances, Madam Speaker, they are facing serious challenges, Madam Speaker. You get that even their vehicles, which are using their old vehicles, which are breaking down now and then, Madam Speaker, the environment of where our offices, Madam Speaker, even sometimes, Madam Speaker, I had to intervene with the NGCDF funds to make their offices to look better, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, for AG to be appointed, Madam Speaker, he must have gone all through these processes, Madam Speaker. And I know, Madam Speaker, In Chapter 6 of the Constitution, Madam Speaker, covers the integrity and the good appointment of this AG, Madam Speaker. So I think I have no problem with some of the amendment here, Madam Speaker, on this bill. And Madam Speaker, we also need to consider and know that when someone reaches an age of 60, that does not mean that person is dying or what. Madam Speaker, what is important is that to know that the government of Kenya should be ready to pay for the pension of these people, Madam Speaker. Because we also need to consider the young generation who are coming up, Madam Speaker. In this, in police service, Madam Speaker, we have also young people who want also to become IGs, Madam Speaker, or who want to become the deputy AGs, Madam Speaker. So we also need to be very careful of the age and see how we can make this age to be very favorable to all Kenyans, Madam Speaker, to all those people in the service, Madam Speaker. We know it is not an easy duty what our police are doing, Madam Speaker. Sometimes I was watching a clip on the TV 2 weeks ago, and I was trying to see what the police training go through, Madam Speaker. And also when they are on a line of duty. I was watching when the Kapendo issue, Madam Speaker, and it was, I saw some photos. I felt like crying, Madam Speaker, to see what our police are going through, securing the people of this country. And that's why I want to tell our police in this country, we are here to fight for them. We are here to make sure that they good environment. We are also here because as members of parliament, we also need to see how our police can be getting a good pay, Madam Speaker. Because what they are getting is a peanut. And as leaders of this country, we also need to be sensitive to our police. And that's why I'm telling our police in this country to be careful when they are chasing some of us in the rallies. Because we are here fighting for them, and we are outside trying to raise the voice for them, to fight for them so that they can get good pay. They are throwing tear gas on us. That's why I'm saying, as a member of Linda Mwananchi, I want to warn the police of this country. Let's not go to that direction, because we are fighting for them. And when we are fighting for them, they come and try to throw a tear gas on us. That is nonsense. And I want to ask our police to be sensitive, and to be careful, and to support our meetings, because we are here to fight for them. Because for them, they cannot, once you raise a voice, tomorrow you'll be sacked. You know the kind of government we have, current government we have, Madam Speaker. So I want to tell them we are here to fight for them. But I want to request the police also to discipline themselves and conduct themselves on our rallies, Madam Speaker. Because what we are doing, Madam Speaker,
what is out of order, Honorable Ngusi Anguna?
Point of order. Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Before I give a point of order, I heard about nonsense. Nonsense is completely unparliamentary language. So we must respect rules of this House. But I have a point of order from the Honorable Member for Mwingi West. He's already on his feet.
Yes.
What is out of order?
Madam Speaker, I rose on point of order. Is it in order for the member to use unparliamentary languages? Actually, I've had several words like nonsense. Kindly force him to withdraw. Secondly, how can you say police are, they never conduct themselves in order, and they are the ones who maintain the law and order? Madam Speaker, I want the member to expound more on what he is saying. He is totally misleading this House. Kindly act.
Member for Kaiti, we prosecute one at a time.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Madam Speaker, Honorable Nguna is a friend of mine. And you know, he joined the government the other day. So already his stomach is full and his mouth, you can see even nowadays he has increased weight because of joining government. So, Madam Speaker, allow me not to respond to Honorable Nguna.
I think you are completely out of order, Member for Kaiti.
Madam Speaker.
Member for Mwingi West.
Madam Speaker, you know very well Parliament, judiciary, and also executive is part of government. Is the member in order claiming that I joined government when he is also in government? I have been in government. Parliament is part of governance. Executive and judiciary. I think the member needs to read and understand the Constitution very well before uttering some of these words. He is totally misleading this House, Madam Speaker.
First of all, you have only 1 minute to go, but I would like you to be careful with the language. I know you seem to be very emotional because of politics. This is a very important bill, and you have debated it very well. If you can just conclude without telling those hurtful words that you are telling the member for Mwingi West, it is extremely wrong, and I would like you to apologize for the kind of language that you are using. Member for Kaiti, and you are, is it 2-term or 3-term?
3-term. Madam Speaker, thank you for giving me 3-term. That is good. Madam Speaker, I want to use the right language, and I don't mean the government, I mean the broad-based government. But Madam Speaker, I want to conclude, Madam Speaker.
To be precise, member for Kaiti, you are out of order based on our standing orders. What else is out of order? Member for Buri.
We have children from schools here. This is a bad example that you are portraying for this House. You have used language that is totally unparliamentary. And these children who are here, they didn't come to hear this kind of statement and using those kind of ones that are not compatible with this House. Madam Speaker, Mheshimiwa Kimilu need to apologize unconditionally.
Member for Nyeri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would request the Honorable Member to apologize. I think it is democratic right for Honorable Bunia to be wherever he wants to be. Again, as Honorable Dikri says, we have children here. We are the leaders. I don't think it's right to use the vulgar language. Honorable Speaker, let him apologize before he continues.
Honorable Member for Kaiti, based on our standing orders number 107A2, in this standing order, and parliamentary language means the use of words which in the opinion of the person presiding are deemed to be impolite, rude, abusive, and inconsistent with the parliamentary procedures or practice. Based on this, I ask you to withdraw and apologize to the House.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, before I withdraw, I want...
I'd like you to just start with the withdrawal and apology.
Madam Speaker, I don't think whether it's a matter of apologize, it's withdraw, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, I want to withdraw and the word nonsense, Madam Speaker.
So, Member for Kaiti, withdraw and apologize to the House. I do not worry so much about the children in there, but we have rules of this House, and you have gone against our standing orders. I order that you withdraw and apologize.
Madam Speaker, I want to withdraw. And even before I apologize, because Madam Speaker, I have to apologize, I want to say that Ridikiri is a member, is my chairman in the Committee of Housing, and I know why he's against me, because Madam Speaker, he cannot just say that it's a parliamentary language, Madam Speaker. But for the sake of this parliament, Madam Speaker, I withdraw and apologize.
Your time is up. Your time is up. Honorable members, before we proceed, I would like to recognize our guests. Seated in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon, we have students from St. Bonaventure Kaheti, boys from Mukurweini in Nyeri, and also students from Gishosho Junior School, Kiambu County, Kiambu constituency. I would like to welcome all those students in the House to continue observing our proceedings, and I would like to give a chance to the member for Nyeri County. Please welcome those students.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to welcome those boys from Kaheti Boys Mukurweini. Karibuni sana. This is where we are, and I'm sure you are learning a lot from this House, and I want to apologize on behalf of that member who has talked like that. We are always good, and we are here to represent you. When you go back to Nyeri, say hi to your parents, and you have a safe journey. I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Member for Nyeri County. The Honorable Ibrahim Sanei, Member for Wajir North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This act to amend the National Police Service Act, I have some issues with it, and I don't have to belabor on the obvious, the qualification of an IG, DIG, and what is required, not of them in the context of their removal or not qualifying, are straightforward, and I don't have to talk much about them. Of importance to me, Madam Speaker, the police do a very important role in this country, to the extent that should we have 5 minutes without policing, we will lose our nationhood. That's to the extent to which they are very important. They are a very important sector of our security, Madam Speaker. Their work is majorly to enforce the law, and that requires non-interference, non-politicization of such a vital, important sector of the government. And in doing so, we don't have to legislate for the person holding the office in mind, but for the office itself, for purposes of perpetuity. We are making laws for generations to come, not for the current IG, for IGs into the future, a multitude of them. With that kind of mindset, we must be objective and clear. Hypothetically, I mean to say, if you legislate having in mind for a particular IG, say who may be in office, I'm just saying hypothetically, the same law which is ill-framed can catch up with an IG whom you will like so much, who is effective and performing. So let us legislate with objectiveness for perpetuity. Madam Speaker, I had a colleague of mine trying to blame the IG on so many things around the police service. It is clear from independence, it used to be a police force, to what it is now, a police service under the 2010 Constitution.
Order, Honorable Sene. Honorable Sene will have a balance of 8 minutes when debate on this bill resumes. So you have an opportunity to be in the House so that you can take your 8 minutes. Honorable members, and the time being 1 minute past 1 p.m., this House stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, 1st April 2026 at 2:30 p.m.